Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hello everyone and welcome to your English class. In our lesson today, we will continue with our third unit, which is titled You've Got Mail. Our lesson today is the second part from the grammar lesson in your books, page 34 and 35. All you need for the lesson today is your books on page 34 and 35, a sheet of paper and a pen to take down your notes. So let's get started. You had a homework from the previous lesson, which is to write an email to your teacher, asking a question or giving asking about a homework or about a project or anything. And I have got this email. Here we're having, Dear Teacher Sam, hope this email finds you well. I apologize for sending you the questions late. However, although I was at hospital yesterday, I worked on them so that I can submit on time. I am thinking of interviewing my aunt, who lived in Australia. Even though she lives in Riyadh, she still can tell about life abroad. I will start recording the interview as soon as I meet her. She promised she will let me know when she is available. Then, looking forward to receiving your comments so that I can go on with the interview. Summer English Course, Class A. As you have noticed in here, Summer started with the introduction, or let's say when she said, Dear Teacher Sam, then she started, hope this email finds you well, which is an introductory part. Then she went into the following part, which is the body, which is the core or the most important part of the email. Why am I sending this email? By the end in here, you will put a closure, best regard, looking forward to hearing from you, and you have to write your name. Okay, so by the end of today's lesson, you will be able to differentiate conjunctions. We will continue with the idea of conjunctions. Also, you will be able to use as soon as and when. We will differentiate them correctly. And you will be able to form sentences using so that. So let's get started with this. Back to Summer's email when she said, although I was at hospital yesterday, I worked on them. And she said, even though she lives in Riyadh, she can talk about life abroad. And here we're having two conjunctions that we have spoken about. These two are although and the other one is even though. These are the two conjunctions. We're having two ideas, opposing ideas. She lives in Saudi Arabia but still can speak about life. I was in hospital but I did the homework. Okay, so when we spoke about the conjunctions, a conjunction is actually a word that is used to connect words, phrases, and clauses. We're having two ideas, and they're going to connect them into one sentence. So two ideas, two phrases, or let's say two nouns, they will be connected with each other. Like, although it rained, we enjoyed the vacation. Two ideas, the idea of it rained, and the other one, we enjoyed the vacation. When someone tells you that it rained, you will say, no, you won't enjoy your vacation. However, we did. The other one, in spite of the traffic, I arrived on time. It was very crowded. However, I made it and I arrived on time. Also, so in here, we're having the conjunctions that we will get to know, although, even though, as soon as, when, so, and in spite of. These are the things that we are concerned about. We're going to discuss all together. Okay, let's start with although, even though, and in spite of. These three conjunctions which connect two different ideas. Two, maybe one is positive, the other is negative, or the opposite, negative and positive. Although, even though, and in spite of have similar meaning. So you can use this instead of that. Take out although and use even though. Take out even though and use in spite of. So we can use any one of them for the same idea. So, although it rained, we enjoyed the vacation. Also, I can say, even though it rained, we enjoyed the vacation. And also we can say, in spite the rain, we enjoyed the vacation. Is there any difference between these three sentences? The first two, which are although and even though, are exactly the same. So take out although and put even though. There is no change within the sentence. However, if we're speaking about in spite of the rain, we enjoyed the vacation, notice in here, what comes after in spite of is actually usually a noun. It could be a noun and it could be a gerund, because a gerund is a noun actually. So you're not going to use a phrase, a complete phrase, like a noun and a verb, just the noun. In spite of the traffic, in spite of the rain. Then continue your sentence. However, the meaning is the same. There is no change within the meaning. So, although, even though, and in spite of, although and even though, introduce a clause that has a subject and a verb. Afterwards, we will have it rained. So, in spite of, it is followed by a noun or a gerund. So we won't need a verb. In spite the rain, in spite the traffic. Okay, so in here, although it rained, notice this is the subject and the verb. Then, even though I was tired, I couldn't sleep. Subject, and we have a verb, followed by in spite the traffic. Notice here it is only a noun, and I went to school in spite of being sick. Being is the gerund. Here it is a gerund. So the thing that you can do, that you will change, you will take out the verb and use only the noun. Okay, let's try to use even though, although, or in spite of to come up with a sentence about the picture that we've got in here. Here we're having a lady who's walking, holding an umbrella under the rain. Let's come up with ideas. Walking or going out and rain. It rained. I can say that it was raining. The other one, she went out. So what can I tell? I can tell in here, although, then I will come with one of the ideas. It was raining, she went out. So use the complete sentence. It was raining, she went out. Just organize them this way. Also, I can use even though the same way. Even though it was raining, she went out. You will use a complete sentence. Even though it was raining, she went out. Take out even though, add although. How about if I want to use in spite of? In spite of, we need here to use a noun or a gerund. Can I use it was raining? No. In spite of the rain. So, in spite of the rain instead of it was raining. In spite of the rain, then come up with the other one, the result clause, which is she went out. We're having it was raining, then she went out regardless of what happened. And I want you to notice here that between them, if you start with the conjunction, you have to use a comma to separate the two ideas. We're having two ideas, separate them with a comma if you have started with the conjunction, which are here in spite of and the others. Okay, let's continue in here. The following. Here, how about if I want to change the order? Sometimes you don't want to start with the conjunction. I want to change the order of my sentence. Let's go in here. Although it was raining, she went out. Can we change the order of the sentence? I will start with the result clause, then I will come up with the main clause. I can. How can we do it? Are we going to say although, then she went? We will take the although with the main clause to the other part. So it will be, she went out although it was raining. She went out although it was raining. What have I done? I've taken this one to the beginning of the sentence. She went out, although is part of the main clause. Notice that it ended up with a full stop, it's not a comma, and this one is in a small a. How about the second one? In spite of the rain, she went out. Let's start with the second or the result clause. We will say that she went out in spite of the rain. In spite of the rain is one clause, which is the main clause. So we will take it until the end, the second place. So I will say she went out in spite of the rain. No commas in here. Okay, let's continue with another example. Let's look at these people. We're having many people in here what are they doing? They are running. However, what's wrong with them? They're having disabilities. Some of them are on wheelchairs, others have messed their legs. Notice them. We will use they are disabled, they run the marathon. They are disabled, they run the marathon. Maybe someone who is disabled will say, you can't run the marathon. However, they did, and they run the marathon. Let's try to use although, even though, and in spite of. We will start with although. Although, we will use although they are disabled. However, what are they doing? They run the marathon. They run the marathon. Although they are disabled, however, they run the marathon. We can use even though as easy as just change although. Even though, then they are disabled, then let's change it into, we will continue, they run the marathon. They run the marathon. How about in spite of? In spite of, in here, it will be followed by a noun or a gerund. We can't come up with a sentence formation which is a subject and a verb. So we will say, in spite of what? Of their disability. Of the disability. They can't do a certain thing. In spite of their disability, then the result clause, they run the marathon. They run it. Now, let's go back to the same idea, which is here changing the order of the phrases. We're having here the main clause and the result clause. Even though they are disabled, they run the marathon. Let's change the order of the sentence. We will start with the result clause. So we can say that they run the marathon even though they are disabled. Notice that we have the even though in the middle, no commas have been used in here. How about in spite of? In spite of their disability, they run the marathon. So we will start with running the marathon. They run the marathon in spite of their disability. So just although with the whole sentence, let's say the conjunction with the whole phrase, you will take it to the other side and change the order. As easy as that. Okay, back to Summer's email. She said, she told her teacher, I will start recording the interview as soon as I meet my aunt. And also she said, she promised she will let me know when she is free. Let's take the first one as an example. I will start recording the interview as soon as I meet my aunt. Is she going to, has she met her aunt? No, not yet. She will meet her aunt in the future. So the whole idea is about to happen in the future. How about the second one? She promised, let's start with she will let me know when she's free. Was she free? No, she wasn't free. Is she free now? No. She will let me know, maybe tomorrow or the following day. She will let me know when she's free. So maybe tomorrow or any other day, next weekend. So in here, I will start recording the interview as soon as I meet my aunt, and my aunt promised that she will let me know when she's free. In here, the whole action will happen in the future. We're not speaking about things that happened or are happening now, will happen. However, if we're looking into here, we're having as soon as and we're having when. These they are as soon as, and we're having as well as, we're having when. When we're speaking about these, the following, let's check the verb that comes afterward. Here we have meet, and there we are having is. The other one is. Which tense are they? They are actually present, past, or future. They are in the present. Meet is. It's not was or well. It is. So it is in the present. How about the sentence that comes before, let's say the other sentence? It will be in the, we will use the future tense. Let's notice in here, we're having I will start and she will let me know. It is actually in the future will. We use the future will. So we're having two tenses. One with the conjunction as well as and when will be in the present tense. However, the other sentence will be before or after will be in the future tense. However, the whole sentence is giving you the future tense. Okay, so these conjunctions, which are as soon as and when, are not followed by the future forms of verbs, even though the verbs tell us about the future. So the whole idea is a future idea. However, the tense is present. The present is used and said. So we use the present, however, the meaning is about to happen in the future. So we're speaking about something that is about to happen in the future. I will tell you as soon as I know. As soon as I know, I will tell you. Notice that know here is in the present, however, the other sentence is in the future. The other sentence, I will call you when I arrive. Arrive is in the present, and the other sentence will be future. However, the meaning, the sentence, the whole sentence is a future tense. Okay, let's try to do this exercise. When the movie ends, I go to bed. Here we have, this is our keyword, which is when, followed by, is it present or future? It will be ends, present, I will go to bed. So maybe an hour later, the movie ends, then I will go to bed. I feel relaxed when I finish my project. When? So I will feel relaxed when I finish my project. This one is in the present, and the other verb will be in the future. As soon as they finish talking, they go home. This is the key word. So as soon as they finish talking, they will go home. Finish, then go. Next, she get into the bus as soon as it arrive. Here it is. We're having as soon as. So she will get into the bus as soon as it arrives. It will arrive, then she will get into it. Okay. Let's go into your books, page 100. We're having exercise C. Choose the correct verb to complete the sentences. Like here we have here, arrive, get, and others. I will send you an email as soon as I hear from him. Here will be in the present tense. I hear from him. Kim will call her parents when she arrives at her hotel. When she arrives, because it is before that we're having when. My computer tells me when I get spam. We're having when, so get. As soon as you take a right at the light, you will see my house on the left. So we're having as soon as, so take. Will you clean your room when you get home this afternoon? Get will be in the present. Get. My neighbors turn on the TV as soon as I go to sleep. As soon as I go, the present tense. Then in here, number 7, will you cheer tomorrow night when the football players start? It will be start, the present tense. Todd will be tired tomorrow when he present finishes work. The teacher will tell us our test scores as soon as they be ready. As soon as, what is the present of be? It is actually is are or am, and they are. He's going to get a job as soon as he graduates, when he finishes school. Okay, so we will use the future and the present with the conjunction. It will be with the conjunction. Then we'll speak about the idea of so that. Let's read this sentence. The noise was so loud that we could hardly hear ourselves. It was not loud, it was so loud, to the extent that we couldn't hear ourselves. I hear nothing because it was very loud. So we use so with an adjective. Notice, after so we have loud. Loud is an adjective, and also with many, much, few, and little to express the result or the degree. It is so much. There were so many cars that we couldn't find a place to park. Many. So after so we're having many. So many, can you prove it? That I couldn't find any place to park. Very busy, very crowded. Let's try to come up with sentences using that. Here we will use so that. It was so cold. To the extent that, so it was so cold that, what happened? I can't feel, it is so cold that I can't feel my hands. It's not only cold, no, I can't feel my hands, to the extent that I can't feel my hands. Also, here we were having the place is crowded, so it was so crowded. How crowded was it? That I couldn't find my friend. I lost a friend, it was very crowded in there. Also, I would say in here, what's wrong with him? He was sick. He was so sick that, to which extent that he was sick? That he couldn't go to work. If he is a bit sick, he might do it and go to work. How he was so sick that he couldn't go to work. So you were describing how sick he is or how cold it was. Now here in your books, page 35, match the two parts of the sentences about an outing. We're having here, there was so much traffic, then we will use so that. There was so much traffic, we can match it with be, which is, it took hours to get to the beach. Let's come up with a sentence. We will say, there was so much traffic that it took us hours to get to the beach. Next, the picnic spot was so crowded. Let's prove it. What happened? E, we weren't able to find a good place to sit. So we can say, the picnic spot was so crowded. How crowded? That we weren't able to find a good place to sit. Number 3, the water was so cold. How cold? Then we weren't able to swim. So the sentence will be, the water was so cold that we weren't able to swim. Number 4, there were so many mosquitoes, insects. How can you prove it? We're having F, the children were bitten all over. We can say, there were so many mosquitoes that the children were bitten all over. How about number 5? The busy was so noisy. How noisy? We can use I got a headache. So, the beach was so noisy that I got a headache. Next, we were all so tired in the evening. How tired? That we went straight to bed. So the sentence is, we were so tired in the evening that we went straight to bed. Not a bit tired, so tired that we went early to bed. Now in your books, page 103, we're going to look at the pictures and come up with the actions. Let's try to describe the picture using actions, verbs. We can say monitor the weather. Also, I can say watch, call as well. I can say notify I may use the verb warn, maybe alert, prevent, evacuate, and we can say threaten. These are actually verbs. Let's come up with these sentences. We can tell in here, the weather changes are monitored closely. Why? So that damage by storms can be prevented. We monitor it so that we can prevent. Number 2, the controller watches the screen very carefully. Why? So that accidents can be avoided. So he will look carefully. We will avoid accidents. Also, we can say large screens are used. This screen is large. Why? So that conditions can be shown clearly over a broad area. So we will see a broad area, a big area, large one. Okay, this is some uses for the so that. For your homework, I want you to take the exercise I in your books, page 103. So it's exercise I in your books 103 to come up with sentences using adjective, so, adjective, that. Okay, I guess that is it for the lesson today, and thank you so much for your time.